Welcome back, YouTube, to another video. This is going to be the second installation in the ER to PR series, and I'm not going to lie, the next few videos are just going to kind of be bumbling around, but we're gonna have some structure soon. So going into this was my secondary day. Originally, I wanted to do an SSB, a belt squat day, and then another SSB day. That's probably going to change going forward, just because I wasn't sure of how I was going to recover. So you're going to kind of see we're going to do a lot of SSB going forward, and then a lot of belt squat. In this video, no SSB, all belt squat, and I'm going to kind of talk through the logic of doing that. So I just wanted to provide some variations where I'm not overdoing myself and just really hurting myself more than I should, playing everything by ear. But you can kind of see the setup on the belt squat here. Got a couple different settings. Now in relation to where you are, the more forward you have the hook, the more of a difficult lift and more of like a front squat it is. So as you go further back, it's more reminiscent of like a low bar center of gravity behind you where you can tend to squat more weight. So I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm going to have a day where I do like rep stuff, go heavy with the weights, and then if I want to kind of taper it, I can go forward, change that hook in the middle of the set if I want to make it more difficult. And you're going to kind of see here in the video, if you watch the hook, I'm moving it back and forth to kind of see where I like it. And I am using, the handle to grip just to make sure I'm not overexerting, falling forward, and still getting the work done. But I'm going to talk about it in videos as I do it. Now for the heavy stuff, to kind of really get that stimulus and make it difficult, I am going to use that really forward, far position. Some of these belt squats, if you load them up with weights and then you put maybe the hook all the way in the back, it ends up being almost like effortless because of the way that the mechanism works. So I'm looking for longevity and being able to challenge myself. So here I've got it all the way forward, and I'm like, okay, that's a little too heavy, so I'm going to move back. And so I ended up dropping the plate, and if I wanted to, I could just kind of go a couple holes back with the same weight and be able to move that. It wouldn't be the same thing, but in order for me to track progress and make gains, I want to be consistent. So I'm like, okay, I'll just stick with the 3 plates for right now, and I'll do some reps with that. So that was my logic in this workout. And you're not going to know that until you actually make the time and effort to figure that out for yourself. And again, like I said, this was like a week after and just kind of testing out what I can do, what I can't do, and then refining it going forward. So I'll have like an in-depth video in the future where it explains all this, but so many changes, so many things still up in the air. I'm really just, doing what I can and kind of just showing that it can be done regardless of your situation. So wearing sweatpants here, honestly, I don't like wearing stiffer clothing like leggings or like thermal layers you can put underneath are like really nice for squatting. You don't get like a jammed up crotch or a wedgie or whatever with squatting anytime that you're doing repetitive motions. But you can kind of see here, I'm really just squatting the same way I would with like a barbell, just kind of sitting back, letting the knees travel slightly forward, nice and controlled, and then really just, trying to balance the weight in my heels and my midfoot and make sure I'm stapled to the ground and just kind of go from there. So we're just going to do reps on reps on reps and just going to slowly refine to see what I like. So now you can see I've kind of got the hook further back. So if I wanted to do my heavy sets, let's say I put the hook all the way at the front, I do my heavy sets of 5 with this weight, 270. Hey, I wanted to do a few more reps. Take the hook out, throw it in the back, a little bit less stress, and I can crank out a bunch of reps and get the best of both worlds. So you can kind of do a pretty efficient drop set with the belt squat. You just have to strategically think about it, and ultimately, it depends on how you want to progress and use it too. So I did leg press again here, and I mentioned before in the last video, picking up the 45-pound plates may not be the smartest thing to do. Let me try the 25s. So through the 25s on there, you're going to obviously need to add more just because of the discrepancy in weights. So just doing about 100 pounds and for reps here, and nothing too crazy, but being cognizant of leaving one of the handles unlatched so that I can unrack the leg press, but also to the point where it's not like a danger to me or anybody else. So you have to kind of think of those things, and a lot of people really don't. So ultimately it's about just learning from experience, and hopefully these videos will kind of help make sense. Each leg press has 2 handles on the side that you unrack. And it can be difficult if you don't have access to that arm or you're not supposed to move it. So you can see here I've got one handle unracked and then the other on my other side. I'm using that hand to unrack it. And obviously you're not going to be able to load it up crazy. So focus on reps. Focus on other ways that you can stimulate muscle growth, challenge yourself. You know, you could do more reps over each week. You could do them slower with some sort of tempo, greater time under tension. And you're going to kind of see my progression going forward because I love training and I love making things more difficult than they need to be. But also challenging and being looking forward to coming to the gym and training. But if you've noticed, the lighting and quality is a lot different from the last video. I ended up changing the lenses and then getting my settings right. And it's kind of crazy how much depth of field you can get with like a camera. So filming in 10-bit color, nice dynamic range, S-Log 3, and everything just looks really good. I think it's going to be really good for the channel going forward. I think it's going to put us on par, and then the rest is just up to me to lift the way that I want to do. So I just kind of showed an angle here of just unhooking the one side. And with the leg press here, like I said before, I've got a big belly and a big stomach, so the range of motion is difficult without my upper leg running into my chest. So you have to find just like a happy medium. This is actually why I actually stopped leg pressing. I just feel like I wasn't getting the range of motion I wanted, and it's hard to really see with the sweatpants and everything on. But ultimately, like, you know, I just want to be in the gym and train. I want to be able to move. I don't want to be like a couch potato, gain a bunch of weight and stuff, and lose everything that made me, you know, kind of go into what I am. But one of the things I'm doing now is definitely watching the diet, be more strict with calories and stuff like that, and, you know, moderating that. I'm not training as hard, so I don't need to be eating as dense. But a little bit of a change here. Unilateral hamstring curl. So just for some variety, so we're not just doing the same 3 exercises 3 times a week, I decided to lower the weight, and this is how I do it in this machine. It's a little bit difficult because when I do the other leg, you're going to see it's at a different mechanical point on the pad. So a little bit of a different feel, just trying to play it by ear. And, you know, make changes. You know, you don't have to go too heavy. You can just do a bunch of reps and stuff on here. All this is really just additional, you know, fluff and stuff for your legs. Obviously, you want to do the strength work and the functional stuff, but, you know, why not do some lower body curls to really round everything out? So a couple different angles here, and I misfocus. You can you see the lat pull down and focus here. So, you know, obviously, when you're setting up, I've got one arm doing it, so sometimes you miss a shot. But you can make out what's happening here. And just really, like you would with like any other curl, I'm thinking of using my heel and then curling back and then bringing my little pinky toe up. And that's like a nice contraction that you can get in the hamstring, and you'll feel that. Obviously, it doesn't work the same way that your arm would because you have a shoulder and a little bit more flexibility there, but get the contraction controlled. You can go slower if you want. You can go longer. It just can be a little bit difficult when you're doing unilateral because then you're doing reps on both sides. So it can, you know, be 20 plus rep sets. Not on one side, obviously, but just doing both, and a little bit more time consuming than you're probably used to. So, you know, just whatever works for you. If you want to just do double. But mentally, I wanted to change it. A little tip I like to use here is sometimes with certain clothing, the pads can be slick. So if you're doing something that you need to push against, like a leg extension or ham curl, to prevent sliding, you know, expose some skin or whatever. Honestly, I didn't need to do it with these sweatpants. They probably would have been enough friction, but the normal leggings I usually wear are super slippery. And the last thing I want to do when doing an exercise like this is like missing that connection and contraction because of, you know, fabric or whatever. So I kind of mentioned it with you know, the bench and putting a band down the bench in order to balance that out. Like I said, it just comes back to just putting the time in the gym, figuring it out, and, you know, letting everybody else know. So, like, I'm trying to develop some sort of protocol if anything ever happens bad before or after, you know, recovery or training. Like, there's another mechanism to be able to do stuff. So, just keeping the arm in the sling here, really not allowing it to go any way. I was told by my physician that you want to keep it at 90 degrees for now as the tendon is reattaching. And so this is before the surgery. So this is before it was reattached. So honestly, I didn't feel any pain. It looks aesthetically different, and obviously you don't want to load it while you're still waiting for all this stuff to kind of figure itself out. So I'm probably going to throw in calf raises just for the interest of the video, to kind of make things a little bit more variety. We've got a couple different calf machines here, and I have to really work on maintaining my time and attention. So like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching the latest video. If you want to help support the channel, I actually own my own wet shaving and grooming e-commerce website where everything's handmade by me. It's www.apexsoaps.com, and you can get a 10% off code using wet shaver. We've got some cool scents here. We've got some Coca-Cola scents, a horchata scent, traditional barbershop, just some really cool stuff. And you can purchase samples or you can buy the whole set. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out via email. Be quick to respond. Thanks for watching.